Let me tell you something that's going to sting at first, but will set you free once you accept it. Nobody cares. Not the way you think they do, not the way you hope they do, not the way you've been waiting for them to care. That person you're trying to impress, they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. That audience you're worried will judge you, they're too busy worrying about their own problems to spend time analyzing yours. Those people whose validation you're chasing, they'll forget about you the moment you leave the room. Nobody cares about your dreams the way you care about your dreams. Nobody cares about your goals the way you care about your goals. Nobody is going to fight for your future the way you need to fight for your future. And once you truly understand this, once you let this truth sink deep into your bones, everything changes. Because the moment you stop waiting for the world to care is the moment you start building the life you actually want. Right now, you're playing to an audience that isn't watching. You're seeking approval from people who aren't paying attention. You're delaying your dreams because you're afraid of what others might think. And those others aren't even thinking about you. Do you see how insane that is? You're letting imaginary opinions from distracted people control your real life. You're not starting that business because you're worried people will think you're crazy. Meanwhile, those people are scrolling their phones, not thinking about you at all. You're not posting that content because you're afraid people will judge you. Meanwhile, those people are dealing with their own insecurities, not analyzing yours. You're not asking for that promotion because you're scared of what your coworkers will say. Meanwhile, your coworkers are focused on their own careers, not monitoring yours. You're living in a prison of imaginary judgment, and the guards, they don't even know the prison exists. Let me break down what nobody cares really means, because this isn't about being cold or cynical. This is about freedom. Nobody cares means you're free to fail without an audience keeping score. Nobody cares means you're free to try things without everyone watching and waiting for you to mess up. Nobody cares means you're free to reinvent yourself without anyone holding your past against you. Nobody cares means you're free to be ambitious without people trying to pull you back down. Nobody cares means you're free to focus entirely on yourself without guilt. This is liberation. This is permission. This is the truth that sets you free from caring what people think. But here's where most people get it wrong. They hear nobody cares and they feel sad. They feel alone. They feel like it means they don't matter. That's not what this means. This means you get to decide what matters. This means you're not a prisoner to other people's opinions anymore. This means you can finally stop performing for an audience that doesn't exist and start building for yourself. Think about how much energy you waste caring what people think. Think about how many decisions you've made based on how it would look to others instead of what would actually move your life forward. Think about the business you didn't start because someone might laugh. Think about the relationship you didn't pursue because people might judge. Think about the career change you didn't make because it would seem weird. Think about the content you didn't create because it might flop. Think about the risks you didn't take because what would people say? And now think about this. Those people you were so worried about, they forgot about that moment 5 minutes later, while you're still carrying it months or years later. They've moved on completely. You've been living your life in a highlight reel for people who aren't even watching the show. Stop it. Stop performing. Stop posturing. Stop pretending. Stop waiting for applause that's never coming. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to validate you. Nobody is coming to give you permission to chase your dreams. You have to save yourself. You have to validate yourself. You have to give yourself permission. And once you do, once you truly internalize that nobody cares, you become unstoppable. Because when you're not worried about judgment, you can take massive action. When you're not seeking approval, you can make bold decisions. When you're not playing to an audience, you can focus entirely on results. When you're not afraid of looking stupid, you can try new things and learn faster than everyone else. The most successful people you know have figured this out. They're not more talented than you. They're not luckier than you. They're not more connected than you. They just stopped caring what people think and started caring about what actually matters, their own growth, their own goals, their own progress. They post content that flops sometimes. They don't care. They're focused on improving. They start businesses that fail sometimes. They don't care. They're focused on learning. They take risks that don't always work. They don't care. They're focused on the long game. They look stupid sometimes. They don't care. They're focused on getting better. While everyone else is paralyzed by the fear of judgment, they're out there building, creating, failing, learning, and winning. Because they understand the secret. The only person whose opinion actually matters in your life is you. Not your family, not your friends, not your coworkers, not strangers on the internet. You. You're the one who has to live with your choices. You're the one who has to look in the mirror every day. You're the one who has to fall asleep at night knowing whether you gave your all or held back. So why are you letting people who won't even remember your name next year control what you do today? Let me tell you what happens when you truly embrace that nobody cares and you focus entirely on yourself. You start working out, not to look good for others, but because you want to feel strong. You start building your business, not to prove something to people who doubted you, but because you want financial freedom. You start creating content, not because you need validation, but because you have something valuable to share. You start learning new skills, not to impress anyone, but because you want to become more capable. You start taking risks, not to show off, but because you refuse to die with your potential still inside you. You stop living for external validation and start living for internal satisfaction. And paradoxically, when you stop caring what people think, that's when people start paying attention. That's when opportunities start appearing. That's when your life actually starts changing. Because authentic focus is magnetic. Real dedication is inspiring. Genuine progress is undeniable. When people see someone who's completely focused on their own path, not looking left or right for approval, not slowing down for critics, not stopping for doubters, they respect that. They're drawn to that. But here's the key. You can't fake it. You can't pretend not to care while secretly obsessing over every comment, every reaction, every opinion. You have to genuinely shift your focus from external validation to internal progress. So how do you actually do this? How do you stop caring what people think? First, realize that most people are too busy thinking about themselves to think about you. This isn't mean. This is human nature. Everyone is the main character in their own story. You're a background character in theirs, just like they're a background character in yours. Second, understand that the people criticizing you from the sidelines aren't even in the arena. They're not taking risks. They're not building anything. They're not putting themselves out there. Their opinions are worthless because they're not doing anything worth having an opinion about. Third, recognize that judgment from others is usually just projection. When someone criticizes your ambition, it's because they're insecure about their own lack of it. When someone mocks your failure, it's because they're afraid to try. When someone questions your dreams, it's because they've given up on theirs. Their judgment isn't about you, it's about them. Fourth, accept that you will be misunderstood, you will be judged, you will be criticized, and that's okay. In fact, if you're not being criticized, you're probably not doing anything interesting. The only way to avoid criticism is to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. And that's a far worse fate than being judged. Fifth, measure yourself by your own standards, not society's standards. Success isn't about having more than your neighbor, it's about becoming more than you were yesterday. Progress isn't about looking impressive to strangers, it's about looking in the mirror and knowing you gave everything you had. Victory isn't about external applause, it's internal peace. So here's what I need you to do starting today. Stop checking to see who's watching. They're not. And if they are, their opinion doesn't pay your bills, doesn't achieve your goals, doesn't live your life. Stop posting things for validation. Post things because you have something valuable to say. Stop making decisions based on how they'll look. Make decisions based on where they'll take you. Stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. Focus on your own book. Stop waiting for permission. Nobody's going to give it to you. Give it to yourself. Stop seeking approval. You don't need it. You never did. Every single day, you have a choice. You can live for other people's opinions, or you can live for your own goals.
You can perform for an audience that isn't watching, or you can build for a future that you're creating. You can waste energy worrying about judgment, or you can invest that energy into progress.
You can stay safe and small to avoid criticism, or you can go big and accept that criticism comes with the territory. The choice is yours. But understand this, you cannot do both. You cannot chase your dreams and chase approval at the same time. You have to pick one. Most people pick approval. They play it safe. They follow the script. They do what's expected. They live quiet, comfortable, unremarkable lives. And when they're old, they regret it. They regret the risks they didn't take, the dreams they didn't chase, the life they didn't live, all because they were worried what people would think. And those people, they weren't thinking about them at all. Don't be most people. Be the person who understands that nobody cares and uses that as rocket fuel. Be the person who focuses so intensely on their own growth that they don't have time to worry about opinions. Be the person who's too busy building their empire to care about the peasants criticizing from the sidelines. Be the person who fails publicly, learns quickly, and succeeds eventually, because they refuse to let fear of judgment keep them stuck. Let me paint you two pictures of what your life could look like. Picture one. You spend the next 5 years playing it safe. You take the comfortable path, you do what's expected, you avoid risks because what would people think? You don't start that business, you don't create that content, you don't make that bold career move, you don't pursue that dream. And 5 years from now, you're in the same place, just older, more bitter, full of regret, wondering what could have been. All because you cared too much what people thought. And those people, they still don't care about you. Picture two, you spend the next 5 years focused entirely on yourself. You stop seeking validation and start seeking progress. You take risks, you fail sometimes, you learn constantly, you build relentlessly, you ignore the critics, you tune out the doubters, you focus on your goals with laser precision. And 5 years from now, you're financially free, physically strong, mentally sharp, spiritually fulfilled, living a life that makes you proud. And those people who might have judged you along the way, they don't matter anymore because you're too far ahead for their opinions to reach you. Which picture do you want? Which life are you building? Because I'm telling you right now, the second life is available to you, but only if you're willing to accept that nobody cares and focus on yourself. This isn't selfish. This is survival. This is necessary. This is the only way you actually build something meaningful. You cannot live your life for other people and expect to be happy. You cannot chase external validation and expect to feel fulfilled. You cannot make decisions based on fear of judgment and expect to achieve your potential. You have to focus on yourself, your growth, your goals, your progress, your peace, your purpose. Not in an arrogant way, not in a narcissistic way, but in a focused, intentional, disciplined way. The world is full of people seeking attention, seeking validation, seeking approval. Be different. Seek progress. Seek growth. Seek mastery. Be so focused on becoming better that you don't have time to worry about what people think about you becoming better. Be so committed to your goals that criticism just sounds like background noise. Be so obsessed with your own development that opinions from people who aren't developing just don't register anymore. This is the mindset that changes everything. This is the shift that separates people who talk about their dreams from people who actually achieve them. Nobody cares, and that's the best news you've heard all year, because it means you're free. Free to try, free to fail, free to learn, free to grow, free to build, free to become exactly who you're supposed to become. No more excuses, no more delays, no more waiting for the perfect moment when everyone will understand and support you. That moment isn't coming, and you don't need it. You already have everything you need. You have time, you have energy, you have potential, you have choice. What you do with those things is entirely up to you. Not up to your family, not up to your friends, not up to society, up to you. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep living for an audience that doesn't exist? Or are you going to start living for the life you want to create? Are you going to keep seeking approval from people who aren't paying attention? Or are you going to start seeking progress in areas that actually matter? Are you going to keep playing small to avoid judgment, or are you going to go all in and accept that judgment comes with ambition? The choice is yours. It's always been yours. Nobody cares. So stop waiting for them to and start focusing on yourself. Start today. Start now. Start this moment. Build the business. Create the content. Make the change. Take the risk. Chase the dream. Not because people will applaud. Most won't. Not because people will understand. Most won't. Not because people will support you. Most won't. But because you deserve to see what you're capable of when you stop caring what people think and start caring about who you become. Nobody cares, and that's your permission slip. Use it. Focus on yourself, build yourself, become yourself. The only opinion that matters is the one you have when you look in the mirror at night and ask, did I give everything I had today? Did I move forward? Did I become better? Answer that question honestly every single day, and I promise you, 5 years from now, you won't even remember the names of the people whose opinions you were so worried about today. But you will remember the moment you decided to stop caring what they think and start caring about who you become. That moment is now. Don't waste it. Nobody cares. Focus on yourself and become unstoppable.